This is the story of Moses, a man who once ran away in fear, but later changed the course of history. Long ago in Egypt, the Israelites were living as slaves under the rule of a powerful king called Pharaoh. Pharaoh feared that the Israelites were becoming too many and too strong, so he gave a terrible order. Every Hebrew baby boy must be killed. But one mother refused to let her child die. She placed her baby in a small basket and set it gently on the Nile River, trusting that somehow God would protect him. That baby was Moses. The basket floated quietly along the river until Pharaoh's own daughter discovered it. She felt compassion for the child and decided to raise him as her own son inside the palace. So the baby who was supposed to die grew up as a prince of Egypt. Years passed, and Moses lived among royalty. But one day he discovered the truth about who he really was. He was not Egyptian, he was Hebrew. One day Moses saw an Egyptian soldier beating a Hebrew slave. Anger filled his heart, and in a moment of emotion, Moses attacked the Egyptian and killed him. Fear immediately took over. Moses knew his life in Egypt was over, so he ran away into the desert. From prince to shepherd, Moses spent 40 years living quietly in the wilderness. It may have felt like his life had lost its purpose, but sometimes the seasons that seem silent are actually the seasons where God prepares us for something greater. One day, while watching his sheep near a mountain, Moses saw something strange. A bush was on fire, but it was not burning up. Curious, Moses walked closer. Suddenly, a voice spoke from the flames. "Moses, Moses." It was God. God told Moses to return to Egypt and lead the Israelites out of slavery. But Moses was afraid. He said, "Who am I to do this? What if people don't believe me? I am not a good speaker." But God answered him with powerful words, "I will be with you." With that promise, Moses returned to Egypt. He walked back into the palace he once lived in and stood face to face with Pharaoh, the most powerful ruler in the land. And Moses said boldly, "Let my people go." At first, Pharaoh refused. Again and again he hardened his heart. But through miracles and signs, God showed his power. Finally, Pharaoh allowed the Israelites to leave Egypt. Thousands of people began their journey toward freedom. But soon they faced a terrifying obstacle. In front of them was the Red Sea. Behind them was Pharaoh's army racing toward them. The people panicked. They cried out in fear. But Moses stood firm and said, "Do not be afraid. Stand still and see what God will do." Then Moses lifted his staff over the sea. Suddenly, the wind began to blow. The waters started to move, and before everyone's eyes, the sea split in two. Massive walls of water stood on both sides, and a dry path appeared through the middle. The Israelites walked safely through the sea. The same ocean that seemed impossible to cross became the miracle that saved them. Moses went on to lead the Israelites through the wilderness and guide them toward a new future. The man who once doubted himself became one of the greatest leaders in history. Not because he was perfect, not because he was fearless, but because he trusted God. And his story reminds us of something powerful. Your weakness does not cancel your purpose. Your fear does not stop your destiny. Sometimes the path looks impossible until faith opens the sea.